Is WWE losing money? There's some major changes happening. We're going to talk about that, plus a big TNA announcement and so much more. Don't forget, we're giving away this championship belt at 100,000 subscribers. All right, y'all. First, we're going to kick things off with some TNA news. Will Ospreay wanted to come to TNA, and Will Ospreay is coming to TNA because TNA announced today that in Las Vegas at the Palms Casino, January 14th, Will Ospreay will be part of the TNA tapings. Now, this is actually kind of shocking because we know that Will Ospreay is headed to AEW. We know that Will Ospreay is signing with AEW. We know that he is All Elite, but Will Ospreay made it very clear he wanted to compete in a TNA ring. We saw him in Impact Wrestling. Now he will be coming to TNA. This is obviously great for a variety of reasons, but there's two things I really want to talk about today. One, ticket sales, and two, creative. And this is the thing. Let's talk about creative. With Will Ospreay going to TNA, working a taping or whatever, this to me is going to be nothing more than a showcase match. I do not see Will Ospreay long-term being involved in any storylines with TNA because he will have to have some new duties as an AEW wrestler. So first and foremost, when it comes to the overall creative of Will Ospreay in TNA, I wouldn't expect much. Also, just because he was announced for TNA tapings doesn't mean he will be a permanent fixture, and it doesn't mean that there will be an actual working relationship where there's a talent exchange between TNA Wrestling and AEW. Now, I have always been under the belief that AEW, TNA, MLW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA, all of these companies should be doing a massive stadium show together, which I think is very possible. If you look at the original intention of AEW, it was about being the alternative to WWE. AEW works with other companies. If they could find a middle ground and work with all of these other companies for a Forbidden Door stadium show, I feel like it would be massively successful. And obviously, because this isn't like a talent exchange between both companies, I don't know if we will ever get that, but I would like to see that. And really, the big thing that we got to talk about is the overall business nature of this, right? Ticket sales. Right now, TNA is kind of struggling to sell tickets to the event in Las Vegas. Obviously, things should pick up once we get closer to the date, but the show is next month. WWE, AEW, they can go to Las Vegas and they can sell tickets rather fast. With TNA, it's a little bit different. They are trying to create some new momentum. They are trying to get people bought in to this new era of the company. I think it would be really good for TNA to sell tickets. It's not going to be easy. I think Will Ospreay will help a little bit with that. And for the love of God, TNA needs to bring back the six-sided ring. I'm going to talk more about that on more Ango, but nonetheless, I'm excited for Will Ospreay finally getting his dream, his wish. It's coming true. Guys, WWE is getting rid of DVDs. I know it sounds crazy. In 2023, you may have not expected this. I sure did, unfortunately. WWE Home Video UK put out a tweet today. With great sadness, we must announce that WWE have taken the decision to withdraw from the home video category. No licensing deals will be renewed worldwide after 2023. This means the very last WWE home video release from Fremantle will be Crown Jewel 2023. It's a 2-disc DVD set, and it's going to release on December 18th and December 22nd in Germany. WWE Home Video have been releasing VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray for 36 years, the last 11 years through Fremantle in Europe, but this will come to an end on the 31st December of 2023, with no further WWE DVD or Blu-ray stock manufactured. Everyone at WWE Home Video UK would like to thank all of our collectors and fans for many years of support and passion. Guys, this is so unfortunate, man. And, it's just the way society is now. Everything has changed with technology and streaming apps. And, I feel like one of the biggest things, it's the nostalgic factor. But back in the day as a kid, you would go to Blockbuster and you would rent video games and rent movies and rent DVDs. And I kind of like that, man. It was very cheap to rent something. And if you want to own something, it still wasn't even that expensive. Yes, there are a lot of benefits to having things instantaneously with streaming and technology. but there's something about that nostalgic feeling of opening up a DVD case, putting it in the DVD player, and watching it. There's just something about that that's incredibly special. And obviously with WWE making this decision, you know, realistically, like, the only people who are really going to care about this at this stage of the game are the collectors. You know what I'm saying? It's the collectors. And for those who are physical media collectors, like, I can understand the frustration, but it's just the way it is, man. The tapes are, you know, it's outdated. It's outdated stuff. WWE making this decision, it's like kind of shocking that we waited until 2023, because realistically, physical media has basically been done for a while. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. But the fact it lasted this long is very good, considering the fact, you know, how everything has progressed technology-wise. So, yeah, no more DVDs. If you guys want them, get them while you still can, because other than that, you're just not going to be able to get them unless you get it from a secondhand market. But WWE is not going to be publishing any more DVDs or anything like that. So if you're a collector, just keep that in mind. And guys, we got to talk about this final topic. Mark Shapiro. Oh, man, he is the TKO COO, and it looks like there's some major changes that are happening. Mark Shapiro spoke yesterday at the UBS media conference, and he pretty much said that WWE is looking to cut back on house shows. He calls it a margin perspective to run these type of shows, and basically, for those that don't know what that means, Mark Shapiro is basically saying house shows aren't profitable. And yeah, I mean, I get that. House shows really aren't profitable. I think a lot of people understand that, but they're good to have. Obviously, when you're doing live events and loops, it gives people a chance to get better. It gives people a chance, the opportunity to perform in front of crowds if they're not currently on TV. You know, it totally makes sense. But he says there's a reason to have them because it's good for the brand. We're building an audience. We're putting them on in C and D counties. So we're really stretching the brand, and we're amassing a greater array of eyeballs from all demos. So it's good for our long-term growth. Through a margin perspective, they are dilutive. So yes, in terms of long-term, there is benefits, but in terms of the short-term, house shows really just don't make money, and it doesn't make sense. He says, so there's probably an opportunity as we go through our efficiencies and our synergy opportunities to cut back on some of those non-televised events, which will push our margin up. So we are going through that exercise now. Obviously, WWE remains a very profitable company, but they're not making money on house shows. And if you're not making money on house shows, the most realistic thing is to cut back on them. I get that. I understand. WWE as a business, you know, it's the same reason why AEW pretty much stopped doing house shows too, right? Like it was very, very short-lived. House shows don't make a lot of sense. What I would suggest for WWE, this is just from like my perspective as a fan, do house shows once in a while. Big markets. Do Madison Square Garden. Do Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. Do the Forum in LA. Because the reality is WWE is selling really well, actually, for house shows this year. But even with strong sales, it's still not worth running all the time. So, yeah, you know what? There is some positives out of this, too. People will not have to work house shows as much. That means more time for them and their family. So, I understand all sense of it. We'll see what comes through. Don't forget, guys, I'm giving away this championship belt at 100,000 subscribers. If you guys are interested, go ahead and click subscribe today.